Hey everyone. It's been a while. I've been kind of busy and I've been a little bit down and out, and I'm really behind on some stuff. So every now and then, well, I dabble in everything. I watch, I'll watch everybody to a certain extent, as long as they're not going off the rails or anything. But uh, you know, I kind of like this take that Bill Maher has, and I kind of want to watch it and rewatch it. I've actually watched it already, but uh, I like to put my comments to it a little bit.
Well, if you want the American dream, you have to take the American values. There's no bigger issue in electoral politics these days than immigration, and there's no doubt, at least in my mind, that both sides went to extremes. Biden's policy of open doors, and then Trump's policy of broken windows. Now, I'm on the page of America doing what it used to do so well, stealing hard-working, talented immigrants from around the world and making them Americans. But something has changed in the equation. Now, most immigrants still want to assimilate, but some now have this other attitude of melting pot. Fuck you, you melt. Look, you don't have to love everything about America. We don't. That's why Yelp was invented. But, you know, if you do get past ICE, America's actually pretty cool. We say you do you. Eat the food your grandma cooked. Speak another language at home. Celebrate religious holidays. We welcome your food, your art, your fashion, your first ladies. But you have to answer one question. Do you like Western civilization? Because that's what we are, and that's not negotiable.
See this one right here, Western civilization. It this is the West. Europe is the West. I hope they can stay that way. And if you don't want to carry those values forward, I don't want you here. I really don't.
Let me ask our audience. Do you think gay rights is one of our values that's non-negotiable? Great, I'm going to hold you to it. A few weeks ago, a liberal Democrat named Melissa Chaudhry, running for Congress in Seattle, was asked why, among the many progressive causes listed on her website, LGBT rights was conspicuously absent. Because, she said, a lot of Muslims do not feel that way, unfortunately. Now, here's where liberal sphincters just tightened because they heard the word Muslim and have been brainwashed into thinking, oh, some Islamophobic bullshit is coming now. No, just facts and a little honesty to the people who see everything as oppressor versus oppressed, but can't see who actually does a lot of oppressing. So let me ask, is this the progressive policy now? Is Ms. Chaudhry right? We throw gay people under the bus anytime it clashes with what makes Muslims uncomfortable? Last month, a gay cruise ship with 2,000 passengers that was sailing the Mediterranean had to turn around and change course because Muslim countries wouldn't let it dock. They tried to get into Turkey, and Turkey was like, no homo.
So this is something that I've been trying to say. Um, I I don't necessarily agree with the public display of sexuality. So that's the thing I have a problem with. I don't think that um, certain sexualities should be, well, not even certain, even nor the I'm weird. I kind of go the Asian route on this, where public displays of affection, no matter what, is kind of a little more on the taboo side. And trust me, my my wife dislikes this, but I don't really care. It's just one of those things where that's what you do at home. It's where you're supposed to leave it, and whatever. So I'm actually just I'm kind of against seeing, no matter what it is, out in public, and because that way, and my the reason behind that is because I don't think um, anyone should influence anyone else's life with it. Does that make sense?
They tried Egypt? Nope, just straight denial. Now, this poor gay cruise ship couldn't find a home. It was like the Grinder version of the Odyssey. But happy ending, they eventually sailed on to Greece, where the Greeks said, "Are you kidding? We invented that ship." But, but I gotta say, Egypt and Turkey, they have no problem saying, our culture, we just don't do that here. We need a little of that attitude here. How about homophobia? We just don't do that here.
Yeah.
We will make you bake a wedding cake.
Can't do that, really.
But not everybody sees it this way. Linda Sarsour is a big progressive hero, and she says, our number one priority is our community. It is not to assimilate. Okay, but that's not really how immigration works. If I move to Japan, I don't get to say, okay, everybody, a couple of changes. First of all, shoes stay on in the house now. Also, no more tentacle porn. That's gone. Look, lots of people, not just Muslims, of course, do lots of fucked up shit. We don't have to go along with it. A number of cultures still practice marriage by capture, where if you fancy a gal, you simply abduct her and claim her as your fiancé. You may recall Borat tried it on Pamela Anderson.
I actually don't remember that, though.
It's a real thing, and it's always a touching scene when the groom gets down on one knee and to propose, and the bride still has the bag over her head. Okay, but we don't do that here. Linda Sarsour was forced into an arranged marriage at 17, but defends the practice, saying it made her, quote, become mature much earlier in life. I'll bet. But here, we think that's a little too close to Epstein stuff. Honor killings, not letting women show their faces, polygamy, cousin fucking, female genital mutilation. There's lots of stuff we don't do here, and it's not negotiable, and it's not white values. These are liberal values. People fought and died to establish them, and it's not racist to say, if you want to come here to help form a more perfect union, great. But some things are too fundamental to change. The separation of religion and state, for example. And I would say the same thing to Christian nationalists. Democracy, not theocracy. Free speech, even about religion. Equal rights for women, LGBT, that's America. And none of this is available in Sharia law, which a third of British Muslims want to see be the law in England. And you can't have both.
I'll bet that that's about the same for any country that houses Muslim immigrants, and though that 32%, let me define. If anybody ever really talks to me about this, this is how I define it. Because I don't believe that any group of people are all a certain way. So that 32% of Muslims is the religion, but the 32% that require their religion to be a law, those are what I call extremists, and that's what I call Islamists. Not so Muslims and Islamists. So my definition of Islamists, and I don't know if this is correct, and I don't really care, but this is how my brain comprehends it. Islamists are the extremists that want to push their religion on everyone else. And the rest of them are just Muslims of a religion. So I'm 100% anti-Islamists. Uh, a religion should not be used as a law, because, and that includes Christianity, that includes anyone else for that matter, because that causes people to believe that that's the only right way to live, and that's still not technically correct under, if depending on how you interpret the Bible or any of the books, for that matter, for any religion, because um, there's only one person or person thing that truly knows who's correct, and that would be God. So you shouldn't treat others as it's one of those weird things where I believe in the thought pattern that um, everything man thinks of can be wrong. So and so that's where I'm at on that. Really, all what it is that you should only really practice what is good in the books, and that's what I think.
Both. You can't have England and Sharia law. And the left's reaction to Islamification is the worst that could happen from it is it will get right-wingers elected. Maybe, or maybe the worst that could come from it is in 20 years the UK is turning away gay cruise ships. You, now, you can, and I'm sure some of you are, screaming Islamophobia, but that's just a bullshit word to cow people into not talking about this. This has nothing to do with non-whites becoming the majority. I don't give a shit about that. I don't give a shit about colors. White people, they're white, they're not pandas. I care about liberal values being replaced by illiberal ones. Last month, more than 70,000 Moroccan migrants breached the border and poured into a part of Spain called Ceuta. I feel for them, but I also understand why a lot of Europe freaked out about it. I sympathize with refugees, but when I see them interviewed, it's always, there's nothing here for me, the economy sucks, I don't see a future. I sympathize, but what you need is not asylum. What you need is LinkedIn. Build something in the country you live in. You got a bad economy? You know that cruise ship that couldn't dock? Do you have any idea how much money 2,000 drunk gay men would have spent in your beach town?
So, yeah, and that's what I don't. The refugee thing is, I think the refugee thing is more of a scam. It's people. I mean, it's good intentions wrapped in pretty wrapping, because the good intention would be actually to make it where the country that they're fleeing from stops being so well, not poor. um I don't know how to explain it. You, running away from a problem doesn't fix it. To fix a problem, you have to stay and actually work to fix it. So the people running away from the country, um, well, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to fix it. I don't really know. I mean, I wish I had a better way, because we can't just keep pouring money into a country. Um, for instance, the U.S. gives money to other countries, and we spend, I don't know, I think it's billions of dollars on foreign aid, and that foreign aid, what does it do? It doesn't do anything. It hasn't. We've been doing it for probably 50 years, and none of it's getting fixed, or well, fixed. It's not improving. So I don't know what to do there. Um, I don't want anyone to say that. The biggest thing is that I agree with, this is where I'm kind of a liberal. Uh, I mean, I believe that Christianity is probably the best way to go, but I don't believe in forcing it on anyone, because and then it technically even says it in the Bible that you're not supposed to force it on anyone, because then they wouldn't be truly saved. They have to decide this themselves, and so on and so forth. You can maybe argue with them, you can maybe try to convince them, but in the end, it's that person deciding that they believe in God and Jesus and so on. Because forced anything that's forced isn't from free will, and free will is what's required in the Bible. So the reason why I just enjoyed this one is because he does, the mindset he's putting forth right on this one is very similar to mine in many aspects, because nothing should be forced. There shouldn't be any laws prohibiting people from certain actions. And the biggest thing is that, and for me personally, is that the one thing that's lacking is that people should be taught that the biggest, he skimmed over it very small and insignificantly, but um, you shouldn't force anything on anyone, and that includes, technically, you shouldn't be sitting there promoting it publicly to force it down other people's throats. I mean, I know that technically makes me sound like I'm anti-protest and anti whatever, but in a way I am. But but I think the reason I've got that opinion is because a lot of the protesting nowadays has been so extreme and too much, um, forcing it. And it's like protesting should be just walking around with signs, not you know ever causing damages or um, enticing fights. But then again, it could be also enticed from other people who are countering your protest or whatever. So this is where, you know, nuance is a lot of things. But that's what I got for this video. I hope that you guys join me for another one. And I will see you next time.